NBA YoungBoy. He's got himself in a pickle. We will discuss that in a second. But the first topic of the hour is pertaining to TikTok. The House of Representatives have passed a bill to ban ByteDance, who owns this company, a Chinese entity that owns the company, if they do not sell off the company within a year. So let's play the said commentary. Thank you for joining me.
We're tracking what could happen next to TikTok. Today, the Senate will discuss a bill that would ban the social media site unless it makes some changes. And now representatives for TikTok say they're ready to defend it in court. Amy Kiley has a look.
TikTok is ready to fight.
A TikTok executive is vowing legal action if the U.S. bans the social media platform as expected. A bill before the Senate today would give its Chinese parent company ByteDance 270 days to sell the app. Otherwise, it would keep TikTok out of U.S. app stores.
The legislators, the congressmen, the senators, and the president of the United States are all in agreement that we don't want China to own it.
The Senate is expected to pass the legislation as early as tomorrow. It's already through the House. President Joe Biden says he wants to sign it quickly. That's because the bill also includes aid for Israel and Taiwan and support Ukraine desperately needs.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Congress. Thank you, America.
Legal experts say TikTok could argue in court that a ban would hurt free speech. They say an intent to protect national security might not matter if the outcome affects First Amendment rights.
If you live inside the bubble of TikTok and you're just like, it's all, this is what we love, this is what we do.
The legislation comes to the Senate as Secretary of State Antony Blinken begins a trip to China. A spokesperson says the timing is a coincidence, but
it is important that the United States and China manage differences between the two countries to ensure that competition does not veer into conflict.
I may be reporting.
All right, that's the said information. CBS News is the source. How do you feel about this banning of TikTok? Some of you may be on the app, some of you may not be on the app. I am not on the app. I'm going to be truthful. I don't really care for any of most of this nonsense that's transpiring. As I said, social media has brought forward, tools to meet and greet. Give your opinion as you hear, First Amendment rights to voice your opinion, but it also has a downside, social media in general. People can take it too far. People have hurt other people, putting personal people's business out there, bad-mouthing people, of course, saying things that aren't nice. Naturally, once again, your free will to speak, but there are repercussions. This issue with TikTok, the United States feels it's a matter of security, national security. They feel like this company is, spying on the U.S. or other countries. I don't know. But sometimes I do wonder if someone has knowledge to what we're typing in, what we're messaging people through the apps, because there are times when I have seen myself talking about a subject matter or Googling something, and the next thing I know, it's coming up in the Gmail, it's coming up in the Facebook, in the queue of the Facebook, and you're starting to wonder, like, okay, wait a minute. I didn't search on that app for that information, so why is it popping up in another situation? Because all this stuff is connected some type of way. I don't know how, but my thing is, it's spooky. As I said, I'm not on TikTok, so I don't have a dog in the race. Do you think this is an issue of national security? Do you think the United States has some proof that the Chinese company, government, whomever, has been spying on us and spying on other civilians around the world? Give me your opinion. I do have this topic posted to my community board. So if you would like to take the poll, feel free. I'm going to go over there to my community board right now to see what you all have answered pertaining to that question. Thank you so very much. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Hello, everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining me this early evening. Two-part live, everybody. TikTok ban passed through the House. Next, we will see what the Senate has to say. And the second part of this live is pertaining to rapper NBA YoungBoy. A lot is going on with him. Okay. Giving you a little bit of entertainment and social media news today. All right, let's see what answers you all have. And I also will read off my polls too when I'm done with the young boy commentary. So far, only 6 people have voted. House of Representatives have passed a bill to ban TikTok in U.S. if ByteDance does not sell company within a year. Is this a good decision? 33% yes, 33% no, and 33% not sure. Very interesting. So it's a tie between all yes, no, and not sure at 33%. Thank you for joining me. Let's get down to business with NBA YoungBoy. Oh, he has been naughty, naughty, naughty. I hope this young man gets his life together because life is short. And as I always say on my network, I usually don't give advice to older people because it's usually pointless. Most of us are stuck in our ways, and sometimes we just don't change. We don't want to change. We like being stubborn and stuck in our ways. But I feel like young people, they have the advantage to change, okay? Depending on how they're raised, their thought process, the people they hang around with. I feel like they have more of an advantage of trying to, get on board and get it together. We all have made mistakes in life, but there comes a point when some of the things that we do can cause severe damage to ourselves, family, friends, others, depending on what the crime is. And some people are not forgiving. Some people are not forgiving. And that's what you need to think about when you're out here doing things wrong, breaking the law, that some things you can do that you can't return from. And I think you know what I mean. The worst case scenario naturally is unaliving a person. Some people will forgive you. There's fraud, there's theft, there's assault, sexual assault, many types of crimes, fraud, drug use, selling of drugs. There are all types of crimes out here. One of those crimes right now we're going to discuss is pertaining to prescription fraud, weapons carried by this young man. We're also going to go into his lifestyle, who he is, where he was born. He has a lot of children. We're going to talk about that during this live stream. He has a lot going on for his age. 24 years of age, now in custody in Utah, of all places. Said he was going to join this religion out there. I don't know when he's going to do that. Maybe he'll do it while he's incarcerated. Is it true what he's been accused of? Prescription fraud is leading back to Mr. YoungBoy. It's not good. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. Let's start off with the current state that he's in. Thank you for joining me. Pre-trial release hearing scheduled for NBA YoungBoy in Utah prescription drug case. Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden, a.k.a. rapper NBA YoungBoy, was arraigned Friday on allegations of orchestrating a fraudulent prescription drug operation, and a judge in the state's first district set a pretrial release hearing for April 29th. Okay, so that will be next Monday. Gaulden is accused of having friends and family fill phony prescriptions in Utah's Cache County, where he's been living on house arrest for federal weapons charges. He was arrested April 16th by the Cache County Sheriff's Office. A day before his first appearance in Utah, the federal judge in Louisiana, who first granted Gaulden's request for house arrest, ordered the rapper to be taken back into federal custody. Gaulden, as of Monday, remained in Utah custody, according to jail records, where he's being held without bail. U.S. District Court Judge Shelley Dick originally allowed Gaulden to be held on house arrest after his attorney argued that he'd be near a childhood mentor in Utah who was a positive influence, according to reports from Louisiana newspaper The Advocate. Now, who is that person to him? How long has he known that person? Because I was wondering why he went to Utah to live. I didn't know if maybe it's because of getting the charges out of Louisiana. He decided to move somewhere far away, to be away from the media, paparazzi, so on and so forth. Perhaps bad influences. So it says here, a childhood mentor. Who is that person? Is it a female or a male? If a pretrial release is granted, he will likely be taken back to Louisiana in federal custody. And I hear the prisons down there are not nice. So I don't know if he'd want to go there or not. But he probably won't have a choice. Prior to his house arrest, Gordon was being held in prison while he awaited trial for possession of a firearm by a felon. He faces a similar charge out of Utah, where he was arrested on suspicion of possession of a dangerous weapon by a restricted person, in addition to more than 60 more felonies and misdemeanors. Now, the other article I'm going to bring you says 31. Here we have 60. So what exactly has he done? Well, we've got prescription fraud coming out of Utah, plus his weapon charges he had previously, I guess, out of Louisiana. This is bad business. And he's such a young person. He's 24. He'll be turning 25 this year. You have to ask yourself, what is the problem with this young man? I don't know. But he's going to have to get it together. Feel free to go to my community page to take a tour of the house that is currently up for sale, that he currently owns in Utah. It's a sprawling, what I call contemporary mansion at 4544 Abenadi Road, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yes, we're going to get down to business pertaining to his life as a father, who he is, and how he got himself in all this trouble. He seems to have an extensive past, and we're going to currently discuss that. Thank you for joining me. KSL.com is the next source. 31 felonies in large-scale prescription fraud ring. Rapper YoungBoy has been charged. Let's see what he's been doing, everyone. Thank you for joining me. And also, the people who are involved in this fraud, the women who are involved and whoever else, will they turn on him? Will they admit that they purchased the drugs from the pharmacies and any other nefarious deeds that the state has against them? Will the other conspirators turn on him? We will see. Officers descended on the Utah residence of rapper YoungBoy, also known as NBA YoungBoy. YoungBoy Never Broke Again, and YB, on Tuesday to serve a search warrant as part of an ongoing investigation into criminal conduct, according to the Cache County Sheriff's Office. The Louisiana rapper, born Kentrell Deshawn Gaulden, is a suspect in a large-scale prescription fraud ring, according to a police booking affidavit, which says the FBI has identified him as the leader of the NBA street gang from the Louisiana area. The affidavit notes the FBI has classified his associates as a gang because of their structure, affiliation, and violent behavior. Kentrell Gaulden's music is heavily influenced by such behavior, as he is consistently rapping about shooting and killing people, using drugs, and having a strong dislike for law enforcement. Gaulden, 24, was booked into the Cache County Jail, and on Thursday, he was charged in First District Court with pattern of unlawful activity, a second-degree felony, 15 counts of identity fraud, 15 counts of forgery, third-degree felonies, and 15 counts of unlawful conduct, Class A misdemeanor. Investigators from Cache County say they were first alerted to the fraudulent prescriptions last September when someone called in an order to a Hiram pharmacy using the credentials of a Provo doctor who did not have a patient matching the name. Very interesting. Pharmacists told police the voice sounded as though they were a much younger person, disguising their voice to sound much older, the affidavit alleges. Over the next months, police say 18 successfully filled prescriptions, and at least 2 confirmed attempts were documented. So 18 made it through prescriptions, and 2 confirmed attempted, documented through Cache County and across Utah, using names that were different combinations of first and last names with different birthdays, impersonating elderly patients. Very strange. Ordering an antibiotic, I think it's called doxycycline, and promethazine with codeine, a heavily abused controlled substance. The cough syrup is often combined with alcohol or soda to make purple drink or lean. And most of you probably heard that. I think that what they called it back in the day, sipping on scissor. My goodness. In January, officers with the Cache Rich Drug Task Force arrested 2 females attempting to pick up codeine prescriptions in Smithfield, who were driving a Chevy Tahoe registered to Gaulden, which was impounded. Police spoke to Gaulden according to the affidavit, and he claimed the women were family. During the phone conversation, investigators say Gaulden muted himself multiple times, but a lifelong friend of Gaulden who lived with him in Baton Rouge could be heard telling the rapper, ask him about the prescription that they picked up. The affidavit states, with the officer noting, it is suspected that they intend to mute me at that same time as well. So was the officer being on an undercover person? Because this is where I'm confused that an officer would be listening to this conversation. Was this officer undercover taking in the information for the pickup of the prescription? Maybe that's what the attempts were, which led to his arrest. During the investigation, police say they received a call from Gwendolyn Cox. So here we go. Police say they received a call from Gwendolyn Cox, one of the alleged aliases used to order prescriptions. The caller mixed up the names of aliases, giving police the last name White, and could not give an age when asked. According to police, the affidavit said it was very clear that a fake voice was being used and sounded as though she was a much younger male from the southern states. Well, can't hide that southern accent, can you? Weezy, you can't. On Tuesday, a search warrant was executed at Gaulden's multi-million-dollar mansion in the unincorporated area of Weber County, northeast of Huntsville, where police say they found doxycycline prescribed to Carolyn White, codeine prescribed to Gaulden with a false date of birth, and unlabeled codeine. They also say a gun was found which Gaulden said belonged to his wife. So did the gun belong to his wife? Is she a registered carrier or has a permit? I don't know. Gaulden has been on house arrest since October 2021, awaiting trial for a federal firearms charge. Gaulden and 15 others were arrested in 2020 after Baton Rouge police received a tip that a group was filming a music video with guns, according to court documents. Now, who is the nosy Parker who decided to snitch on him and say they had guns filming a video? Where was the video filmed? Were they outside carrying the guns? Naturally, most videos are filmed outside or inside of an enclosed studio. So if they were outside, where were they? And who's the person who decided to snitch on him to say they were filming this video? Some would say that's very messy. I would hope the guns weren't loaded. Were they loaded? I don't know. Just a thought. The Cache County Sheriff's Office say many agencies were involved in executing the warrant at his Weber County residence, including Homeland Security, the FBI, the Secret Service, and Layton Police SWAT, among others. Gaulden's house arrest conditions were altered in December after he claimed his mental health was deteriorating and his professional career was facing significant difficulty. U.S. District Judge Shelley Dick in Louisiana agreed to make an exemption to the 24-hour lockdown for medical and mental health appointments, but denied him approval to go to recording studios, citing concerns for Gaulden's safety in light of the history of violence aimed at Gaulden and those around him. So, is his life in danger? Have people made threats? You also hear commentary in this live stream that he was shot at and shot back at someone. Self-defense, what was that all about? Was it gang-related, rapper-related? Just street hate, street creds? What was it all about? Don't know. Last month, a motion was filed asking the judge to to reconsider Gaulden's house arrest, which federal prosecutors alleging he violated the controlled substance use condition of his arrest. They claim Gaulden told his probation officer he has no intentions. Let me repeat. He told his probation officer he has no intentions to discontinue using the substance that resulted in the violation. The judge denied this motion. Gaulden's trial for the federal charge is scheduled to begin July 15th. As of Friday morning, he does not have a court date scheduled in Utah. Okay, then there's a correction in this article that says a previous version incorrectly said Gaulden was arrested at his Mill Creek home. The arrest took place at his Weber County property. So this is Utah. He is in custody at the moment with no bail. He has a court appointment on April 29th. I guess pertaining to these prescription charges. Naturally, he's on paper for release for the other nonsense with the guns. As I said, he's been a busy bee. It doesn't look good. And as I said, I've heard horrible things about Louisiana state prisons. They're not prisons that you want to be incarcerated in. The living standard in those prisons are what is considered below humane. So if you're down there in those parts, you might want to stay your ass out of trouble. That's all I'm going to say. This man has 11 children. So what I want to say to his wife, his current wife, what number of children did he have when you met him? Because naturally it takes 9 months to carry a child. So I'd like to know, was he on 9 when you met him or decided to marry him? Because I don't know how long you dated him. So we have to ask that question. How long they dated? When did they get married? And what number of children did he actually have? Because we know that a lot of these young men, older ones too, they will make babies while they're with a woman or married to her, married to the woman. So I'd like to know the number of babies that you knew of that he had. Because let's be truthful. You are a young woman. One would say, what in the hell do you want with a man who would have at least 8 children, 9? Why? Hell, he got 6 or 7. That's too many. We can go all the way down to 5, 4. Because at the age of 24, 22, 21, whatever the age is that you met him, he still had a slew of children and he was not currently married to any of the mothers. So I'd have to ask this young lady, what would possess you to want to be involved with a man with a lot of children? Number one, why would you marry a man with a lot of children? Why would you marry a man who continues to stay in trouble with the law and going to jail? Because what these mothers don't seem to understand, including this wife, more than likely he will get prison time for these said charges, the fraud charges coming out of Utah pertaining to prescription fraud, also the other gun charges. Your children won't have a. And I don't think you're thinking about that. And I don't know your motivation for wanting to be with him, if it was perhaps because he's famous, he has money, clout, he's well known, he's seen on TV, videos, so on and so forth. The end result is what you young people aren't thinking about in dating people in the entertainment business, especially the rap game. A lot of these young people are still living a street life because they still have a street mentality. That is why he's wrapped up in this drama right now, because he still has a street person's mentality. And what is sad is he was on house arrest in Utah, where he is currently custody without bail. He's making these drugs to have something to sip on or whatever, get high. For what? Because he was bored, tired of sitting around the house, nothing to do but watch TV. But that was a choice you made. That's a choice. So you're willing to now break the law or house arrest when you know what you're not supposed to be doing when you are on probation or parole. You know you're not supposed to fraternize with felons. You know you're not supposed to be in any type of alcoholic beverages, any type of drugs, marijuana, pills, crack cocaine, fentanyl, meth, nothing. Not supposed to carry a weapon if you are not allowed to carry a weapon, if you've been forbidden to carry a weapon. You're not supposed to engage in illegal activity. So he decides to pick up this prescription fraud business with some cohorts. This is bad. I also got information that his house is up for sale, that one house that I told you about. Please take the tour. Go to my community board to see the sprawling mansion. You'll see this beautiful home that is now, he has up for sale for about $5.something million. Let's get a look into who he is. As I said, he has 11 children. He's going to tell you that he's really not fatherly to the children. This ain't good. This ain't good at all. This ain't good at all. Hip Hop DX is source, everybody. This was uploaded January 9th of this year. NBA YoungBoy has admitted that he is not really big on fatherhood despite recently welcoming his 11th child. The 24-year-old rapper discussed being a parent in an interview with Bootleg Kev at his home in Utah, where he's currently on house arrest. And now, as you know, this is an older article from the first of the year, he is in custody at the moment. While one of his children played on his lap, YoungBoy was asked how important fatherhood is to him, to which he bluntly replied, "I'm not really big on it. To be honest, it's a crazy topic because I'm not the type to sugarcoat nothing," quote unquote. He also said that because of his house arrest, he essentially sits around in one room all day, watching TV. "My kids and I bond a lot, but I'm mostly really inside." So one would say, well, okay, you're on house arrest, your kids are there, you're in one room with them, why would you not be bonding with them? I would ask that question. Or maybe he's just saying, okay, I'm here with them, but I'm not in tune to them. So then one would say, then why not wear a damn condom? And you don't have to worry about being in tune to the children. Stay woke. Because naturally a person can't be with 11 children at the same time, especially due to the fact that the children have different mothers. Stay woke, everybody. One of the rapper's children's mothers is Floyd Mayweather's daughter, Yaya, who he's been vocally critical of in the past. After Nicolette Gotti, the granddaughter of the late mob boss John Gotti, made racially charged threats against Yaya, YoungBoy said, I hope you do that, B-I-T-C-H, in the worst way, 2 or 3 years from now. I don't give a F. I hate that hoe. And when it come to her, good grief, when it come to her daddy, that N-word don't need to be in my mentions. I don't F with him, quote unquote. So I guess he's talking about Yaya and her father, Mr. Mayweather. Good Lord. What was that all about? I don't keep up with everything in the rap game or entertainment. I pick and choose, what I discuss on this network. But nonetheless, this is sad to me because once again, these are young people and these young people are fathering and mothering children. And this is a bad example to set, bickering with people on social media, calling them names, getting in cahoots with other people who are falling out with them. This is a very bad look. But once again, I don't know what she's done, not done, but it's just a bad look for a young black male. Very bad look. The former couple have a dramatic history that involves a fight which ended with another of the rapper's baby mothers stabbed by Mayweather. She was later sentenced to 6 years probation over the violent incident, which allegedly occurred after she found another woman in YoungBoy's house. So this must be him falling out with Yaya, and then what? She heard... I'm confused. So Mayweather was fighting one of the baby's mothers. She stabbed another woman. That's what it says. The former couple have a dramatic history. Involves a fight which ended with another of the rapper's baby's mothers stabbed by Mayweather. So Mayweather's daughter, stabbed one of the baby's mother. Occurred after she found another woman in YoungBoy's house. So what? The baby's mother was in the house? That's a disgrace. This is insane to me. Oh. I can't keep up. I'm getting too old for this. Last year, NBA YoungBoy spoke about his own father, who has been in prison since he was 8 after he was sentenced to 55 years in prison for what was described as a robbery gone wrong. No matter if I see you in the right or wrong way, again, my N-I-G-G-A, I'm going to be smiling, he wrote over a picture of a man that appears to be his father. I went through this experience on my own. You built that one, B-I-T-C-H. I'm trying to tell you. I'm on top of the love, Jeff. DX is the source of this information. This is pitiful to me because you see this so much in the African-American community, also in some other races, of these young men, and some are older, because I watched the Yaya, I call her Yaya, Yala Van Zandt episode of a music producer out of Atlanta who had allegedly 30-something children, and he didn't seem to understand the repercussions of sleeping around with all these different women and making all these babies. Because that's the point of what I'm saying. One, you need to be able to provide for them financially, spend time with them, guide them, rear them. How can you do that if you have so many? You can't. There's no way possible. You could be over here, over here, over here, over here with 30-something kids. It's going to be hard even with 6 or 7, depending on where the children live. One could be in Arizona, one could be in New York, one could be in Tennessee. You understand? How are you going to be in all these places, even if they're in the same city? Like this great city of Knoxville, Tennessee, where I am. Imagine trying to be in 7, 8 different places. One's got a little league game. One's got a soccer game. One has a recital. One has a spelling bee competition. How do you choose which one, where to go? Because a lot of these men, they're sleeping with the women all at the same time. So that's why you'll hear children, their brothers and sisters, and they're the same age. Just imagine being in a world. You know who your mom is. You know who your dad is. Your dad ain't around, but you know about him and all his other damn kids. And you're the same damn age as your brothers and sisters. Imagine that. Imagine being 8. And find out you got an 8-year-old sister. You're an 8-year-old boy with an 8-year-old sister, but y'all ain't got the same mama. And you're trying to understand that. Okay? Then you find out there's another brother or sister, they're 8. Stay woke. Just imagine that. Children walking around related by father, and they're all the same damn age. Can you see how confusing that would be for a child? Confusing to see other children, hear of other children. You're not talking to them, you're not around them, you don't know them, but you carry the same father. How do you explain that to a child? Oh yeah, there's 12, 13 more of you. Oh no, there's 30 more of you. See, people don't think about these things when they're out here screwing around with different people, especially you men and you women as well, because it takes 2. So the game is the same. I want to make you all sure you understand where the queen is coming from. I treat everybody equally. It doesn't make any sense for a woman to be out here having a bunch of children. She could have her 5, 6, 10 too, and they got different daddies. I feel the same. So a man's out here doing it. He's screwing all these different women. Got him 10 here, 12, 13, whatever the number is, all different mamas. It's not a good look. Because it's confusing to a child, and it should be confusing to you. Because you are the one who has to explain to your child why you are not available, accessible at some point. And if you never explained it, now the parent has to explain, well, your daddy's over here, he's over there, he's on drugs, he's over here, he ain't got no money, he don't want to work, he's in jail, he's in prison, he's dead, whatever the situation is. Nobody thinks about what a parent has to tell a child, why their parent isn't around and why they have so many other siblings. And also why he chooses not to spend time with them. Who wants to be the bearer of that bad news? I want to read you someone's comment under this article. R.PGH posted this January 9th of this year. Has 11 children with 10 different mothers at 24 years old. None of those poor kids will ever have a normal relationship with their dad. Fortunately, he's rich, so maybe they'll be provided for. But he doesn't seem like the type to invest wisely or save, so it won't be surprising if he's broke in a few years despite the name. I'm not really big on it, being a dad. What a piece of SHIT. Then stop effing having them if you don't want to be a dad. That was somebody's reply. R.PGH. And then Scarfy's mom replied to that statement. You are absolutely correct. Real Talk OG says, I would have had hysterectomy a long time ago and all those women thinking they gonna trap me and then wonder why they don't get pregnant. Oh, that's an ignorant comment. Very nasty comment. So somebody replies to this Real Talk OG because he's obviously an idiot talking about ejaculating in women. Somebody says a hysterectomy would be removing the womb from a woman's body. So I'm pretty sure if you attempted that, she'd understand why she's not getting pregnant. You're probably thinking of a vasectomy, which cuts the supply of sperm into your semen. Yes, he's a dummy. That means he don't need to be having sex either. He don't really know what is what. Somebody said, Cole, you stupid. Wow. Then somebody replied to Real Talk OG. They said, wow, you finally proved your true intellect. You had some people fooled. Quagmire says, a true role model for his generation. Is he a role model? Because this is what's going on in the world today. People look up to different people for different things. Some young people, black, white, Asian, Jewish, whatever, may look up to YoungBoy, other rappers as their role models. But I heard a young man say this. He's an African-American male. He was a football player. He said this many years ago. I don't know his name, but I heard him talking one day on TV. He says, I don't want you to look up to me. I don't want to be your role model because I'm human and I'm going to make mistakes. And I don't want to do anything out here that you later come back and criticize me for and put me down. Because one day you're liking me, running out on the football field, making touchdowns, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day I go do something, you got a problem with me. So I understood what he meant. Because that's the point. You're not supposed to put people up on pedestals. And we as people have a bad habit of ride or dying with people because we like them. We like their music. We like them in movies, but we don't know them. And that's very true. Because I've heard a lot of athletes say that. Oh, they'll put us up here on a pedestal, but boy, when we fuck up, they come in. throwing daggers at us. Of course, because we're human. And it's the ideology of who you are. You're great on the field. You play great music. You can play the guitar or the drums or whatever it is that you're doing. But hell yeah, when I found out you went out here and got drunk and threw a chair off a rooftop bar, or you out here making living children, you run around here with guns and ain't got no permit, no license to carry. You're drinking and you're driving. You're beating up people, assaulting people. You're accused of sexual assault, kidnapping. Yeah, I guess I might have a problem with you. This is the reason why you need to try to keep your nose clean. But the thing that people don't understand about entertainers, sportsmen, women, whomever, is you don't know them. So you're judging them on the sport. You're judging them on the music, the rap, but you don't know them. And then when they do something heinous, you either condone it, ride or die with it, or shun them. Oh my goodness, I can't believe he did that. Why are you shocked? Especially in the rap game. And it's not to judge all rappers, but a lot of the rappers do come from the street. They've had horrible childhoods, upbringings. They have broken the law, sold drugs, used drugs, been in physical altercations, other type of nefarious deeds, crimes before becoming famous. You also hear that about YoungBoy. He committed crimes in order to record studio time. So the hustle is greater. And I watched a documentary about that recently. Some rappers who were in the game down in Louisiana, they were out committing crimes, selling drugs, so they could make money for record time in the studio, because it costs to record, because that's the game. It costs to live. Nothing is free. Nobody's going to sit here and make music with you for free, whether their name is out there as a producer or not. The point is, it's my time. I need money. So you've got to pay me. That's why they tell people don't really understand the music industry. The music industry is an outright hustle, because musicians don't make a lot of money rapping, singing. They don't make a lot of money because the studio is the head knocker, okay? They generate the income because they're the one putting out the money to fund everything about your career, your album cover, your tours. That's all from the company. This is why you hear all these crazy stories with these young groups that got mismanaged by managers that stole their money, because you need to have a lawyer and you need somebody to explain things to you. You need an accountant. You need somebody that's strictly on the books, watching and articulating everything about your paper. And when you are young, it's easy for somebody to take advantage of you because they know you don't know the documents well and you can't read the fine print. Because legal wrangling is just what it is. It's wrangling of words. It's almost like the Bible. You can barely understand what they're saying. That's why you need a lawyer. To read over the documents to say, yes, you should sign this. No, you shouldn't. So we have this young man who is now in custody out in Utah, will possibly be shipped back to Louisiana. He has 11 children, allegedly 10 different baby mamas. Wow, what a travesty. What a travesty. Hello, everybody. No, baby, it's not Nick Cannon. No. Celebrity net worth. What is NBA YoungBoy worth? $10 million. Born October 20th, 1999. Birthplace, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Gender, male. Profession, rapper. YoungBoy Never Broke Again, also known as NBA YoungBoy, is a rapper and songwriter who has a net worth of $10 million. He first started to gain a bit of fame between 2015 to 2017 when he released 6 independent mixtapes. Following this, his profile rocketed to new heights thanks to the single Outside Today. From his debut album Until Death Call My Name, his star continued to rise in 2019 with the top 10 single Bandit and the chart-topping album Our YoungBoy 2. His early life and beginnings. YoungBoy Never Broke Again, whose real name is Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden, was born in 1999 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Due to his father's 55-year prison sentence, he was raised primarily by his paternal grandmother. As a toddler, Gaulden broke his neck while wrestling and was required to wear a head brace, which left scars on his forehead. After dropping out of high school as a teenager, he was arrested for robbery and sent to a detention center in Tallulah, Louisiana. So where is his mother? Because I don't hear any mention of his mother in this article. And what age did he drop out of high school? I'd like to know. And really, what is his reading level, grade level? Because you can drop out of the 10th grade, 11th grade, but what is his reading comprehension, math comprehension? I'd like to know that. Just curious. Once again, went to a detention center in Tallulah, Louisiana, when he got arrested for robbery, and he was sent to a detention center there. That's where he started writing lyrics. Upon his release, Galton's grandmother had passed away. He thus moved in with his friend and fellow rapper, NBA 3, with whom he committed crimes to pay for time in the studio. As I told you before, this is a hustle that many young men do. They go out and sell drugs and commit crimes so they can make money for studio time, which is not a good idea. You know, somebody would say, hey, why not just go get a regular job? But maybe they feel like, well, I need experience for what I'm going to rap about. Just saying. Anyway, in 2015, Galton released his first mixtape entitled Life Before Fame. He followed this with a series of other mixtapes such as Mind of a Menace, Before I Go, and 38 Baby, the lattermost of which featured fellow rappers Stroke the Don and Boosie Badass. Galton subsequently attracted a great deal of notoriety for his public beef with rapper Scotty Kane, in which the two traded death threats through song. More attention came to Galton when he was arrested in Austin, Texas on suspicion of attempted first-degree murder. In prison in East Baton Rouge Parish, he re-released two of his earlier mixtapes. Following the release of the star-studded video for his song 41, Galton released a new mixtape, YoungBoy, in August of 2017. His biggest success yet, it reached number 24 on the Billboard 200 and launched the singles Untouchable and No Smoke. Even greater success came in 2018 when the single Outside Today made it to number 31 on the Billboard Hot 100. Shortly after this, Galton released his debut studio album, Until Death Call My Name, which peaked at number 7 on the Billboard 200. Also in 2018, Galton released a new mixtape entitled Master the Day of Judgment. Over the summer that year, he put out a series of 4 EPs, each of which included 4 tracks. He then released 2 more mixtapes, Decided and Realer. By January 2019, Galton was listed as one of YouTube's top music artists due to his regular exclusive releases on the platform. And you will see a lot of music videos released to YouTube often. And that's a new way, I guess, of making money, besides just letting it get released off an album through the music company. Galton followed his smash hit YoungBoy 2 with another hit mixtape, Still Flexin', Still Steppin'. Subsequently, in April 2020, his released mixtape 38 Baby 2, which became his second album to debut atop the Billboard 200. Yet another chart-topping album, Top, came later in the year. It spawned the Hot 100 charting singles, Casey, Talk, All In, and My Window. Next, Galton released the mixtape Until I Return, which was made available exclusively on YouTube before going to various streaming services. Galton then released Sincerely Cantrell in 2021. The last Slimmetto in 2022, and I Rest My Case, Don't Try This at Home, and Richest Op in 2023. Criminal activity. Both before and during his professional career, Galton has been consistently involved in criminal activity. One of his offenses came in November of 2016 when he was arrested in Austin, Texas for jumping out of a vehicle and opening fire on a group of pedestrians. He was consequently jailed on 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, pleading guilty to a reduced charge of aggravated assault with a firearm. Galton was sentenced to a 10-year prison term and 3 years of active probation, the former of which was suspended. Later, in early 2018, he was arrested in prison for allegedly committing assault, kidnapping, and weapons violations. He was released shortly after on bail. So who did he kidnap? Who did he assault? Who did he kidnap? And he obviously had a weapon. And that was, oh dear God, 2018. So he's got a lot going on with weapons. While on probation in 2019, Galton returned fire after being shot at by a suspect in a black Cadillac Escalade. The charges for the shooting itself were dismissed, but Galton was found to have violated his probation by being in the company of Trelandrick Norman and Ben Fields. As a result, he was sentenced to 90 days in jail and was banned from performing for 14 months while he was on house arrest. Now, this is 2019. Oh, Lord. More charges came to Gaulden in September of 2020 when he was among 16 people arrested in Baton Rouge for crimes including manufacturing and distributing drugs, possession of stolen firearms. Gaulden was arrested again the next year on a federal warrant, which he attempted to avoid by taking off on foot when federal agents tried to stop his vehicle. In July of 2022, Gaulden was found not guilty on the federal firearms charges. March 2023, restrictions were lifted from his house arrest following more than 3 visitors at a time without a crew. Oh, Jesus. Personal life. Gaulden is the father of 11 children to 9 different women. 2 of his sons, Casey and Caden, appeared in the music video for his single, Casey Talk. January of 2023, he married longtime girlfriend and mother of 2 of his children, Jaslyn Michelle Hayes. Gaulden has stated his intentions of being baptized in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints once his ankle monitor is removed. Real estate. Upon moving to Utah, YoungBoy moved in a $5.2 million home in Salt Lake City. It's unclear all of this writing if he bought the home or rented it from the new owner. As it turned out, he did buy the home, perhaps after a period of renting it at first. His purchase price was not disclosed, but the transaction occurred in 2022. In March of 2024, he listed the home for sale at $5.9 million. There is also a video in this link if you'd like to check it out. It's 4544 Abinadi Road. That's Abinadi, if you want to look it up on YouTube to take a tour of this said home. So here it's stated about the children, which is so just bizarre to me. Someone this young with this many children. 11 children to 9 different women. And this is published, let's see, March 28, 2024. And the other content I brought you was from this year, also 2024, and it said it was 10 mothers. So in the end, it doesn't really matter because at some point, you start to lose count. Celebrity Net Worth is the source of this information. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault XL. 2-part live, everybody. This is just disturbing. A 24-year-old man who's now in custody in Utah for prescription drug fraud. I'm assuming these other people have probably talked, not talked, don't know. Will they talk? Will they turn on him? You hear in the commentary that I brought you that he was pretending to be an older woman, making these phone calls, mixing up the names and using aliases and birthdays, getting them all mixed up, switched up. Because this is what happens when you're lying. You're committing a crime. So I'd like to know, why in the world would this be your latest charge? You're already facing firearm charges out of Louisiana, and you got all these other charges with kidnapping, this and that, dismissed, out on bail, just a slew of stuff that don't make no damn sense. And then here you are in the middle of nowhere, way out in Utah. Hell, they don't even have no black folks out there. I still don't know why you out there. I don't know if you went out there to be near a childhood friend, mentor or not, but the point is, naturally, you go wherever the hell you want to go, because when you got money, you can do that. But that's the point of that. You out of the way, no paparazzi. You ain't in a city with a whole lot going on. I mean, I don't know much about Salt Lake City or that general area, but the point is you live in $1 million mansion. You ought to have something better to do, but you don't, because you're already on house arrest out there from Louisiana. So you move out there, you're still on house arrest, you still can't roam and do nothing, and then you come up with this crazy-ass idea to get involved with prescription drug fraud. Why? Sweetheart, you need to get it together. You are 24 with 11 children who need a father. Your own father is incarcerated. I'm assuming probably for unaliving somebody or damn near unaliving, because the article doesn't say what he did. It just says a robbery that went wrong. So that sounds like death to me. Obviously, you still talk to your father or revere him. And some might say, why? Maybe he committed a crime when he was young, because you're only 20-something, so I would assume your father is young. So he 9 times out of 10 committed a crime, went to prison, doing damn near a 60-year charge. He'll be an old man when he gets out. If he lives to get out, is this the role model you want? Number one, is this the path you're trying to follow subconsciously? Because maybe subconsciously, this is what you're trying to do. You're trying to follow in behind your father and not even know that's the path you are following, because that is the path you're following. So it doesn't matter the charges you've accrued, drugs, prescription, drug shooting, this doesn't matter. It's still a path to prison. And that's what you don't seem to understand. You won't be around for your children. So you already not bonding or not really feeling this father thing. Well, then you're going in the right place to not to have to worry about being a father. And as the person said in that article who commented below it, you won't have anything possibly in a couple of years, because somebody's going to have to operate your estate for you, your monies, everything about your music. And that's where the danger comes in, because you got to pray there'll be somebody to navigate for you. And that's possibly why you were trying to sell your home back in March, or this past March. I could see why. Because you know inevitably you'll probably be going to prison. You have to know that with getting this new charge. I just don't understand why you're doing all this foolishness. There's got to be something empty inside of you. I'm talking to you, you know, like a mother, because I'm old enough to be your mother. This ain't the road you want, honey. Because one, whether you had children or not, girlfriend, wife or not, this shouldn't be a path you want for yourself. Whether you rap about bang, bang, shoot 'em up, police, drugs, whatever, still bad messages too. And we all bang our heads, you know, to the beat. Because really that's all the music to me is about, is the beat. Not necessarily the actions in the other words. Because a lot of it is just a bunch of foolishness talking about doing this and sipping this and popping something and doing stuff to women and calling them out their names. That's not what the world is about. And that is a poor message to send out. Anything about hurting, assaulting, beating folks up, assaulting women, children, police, that's not the message you want to send. But that is a lot of the messages we see in rap songs, hip hop music. And it's your choice to rap about what you want. But you should know there are repercussions, because now they will use that in court now. Videos, pictures. They do it now with RICO cases. Young men, wannabe gangbangers posting heavy artillery in their Facebook posts, IG posts. Well, guess what? When they get arrested and they go to trial, they use that information against them to say, well, you're here in a picture with an AK-47 or blah, 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 and you've been linked to a crime with an AK, so the rest is self-explanatory. And they're just ho-hum guys, just out here barely making it. They're not in no $5.9 million mansion. They don't have any money. They don't got $10 million, you know, in goods and real estate. They ain't hitting no shit. So you see, the two are evenly yoked. You got folks out here doing what you're doing, and they want to be like you. They want to have what you got. And that's what they tell themselves. Oh, if I get this, I wouldn't be doing this. But 9 times out of 10, they probably will. Because sadly, people who are in the game with money, and it's still in the rap game, sports, they still involve themselves in treachery behavior, such as assault, violence, drug trafficking, drug usage. And people are sitting here wondering, what the hell is wrong with you? You got everything the average person would want, so why you out here getting in trouble, beating up people, hurting people? Because there's something wrong with them. They've got a damn problem. And the problem hasn't been rectified. They just got famous and got rich. But that's it. And that's what people don't seem to understand about people that have money, people who are famous. They are just regular people who are famous and who have money. But they've got a jacked up ass attitude and disposition. And so you have to use common sense. If they weren't rich, if they weren't famous, they would be out here doing the same damn thing they're doing as rich and famous. Checkmate. The two are evenly yoked. Regular people and rich people. Because They have the same mentality, and that's what a lot of people don't seem to understand about why people who are rich and famous get in trouble with the law, because they're jacked up, they're wayward, they haven't learned anything. And sometimes they lose everything, or most of what they have, because they don't stay out of trouble. They end up getting sued, having civil lawsuits, hurt somebody, unalive somebody. So you have to tell yourself, what is it worth to have to go through all this legal wrangling and going to court and getting lawyers and pretrial release? For what? When you could just sit your ass down and be still. So you are 24, you have time to stop. You have time to stop. And I won't doubt you'll probably get some time. You'll probably get some time. You're going to get some time for already being on paper for the drug, for the weapons charges. Oh, I mean, you know, you're going through process with the weapons charges, house arrest, so you were already going to court for that. Now you've accrued prescription drug charges. So you got weapon charges to fight plus prescription drug fraud. And then that's not counting the other people that's in cahoots with you. They'll probably tell on you to get a lesser charge. Oh, I needed some extra money, or he just used me to do it. I thought I was helping him out, and da-da-da-da. Because, you know, the first one that hollers gets the deal. So we have to ask that question. Did somebody holler already? Then you're using different names, birth dates, switching the names up. And they said you were pausing on the phone. That really got me. Because I was confused at that. I said, he was what? Because you done switched the names and everything around and got them confused. Wow, wow, wow. Because that's what happens when you're lying. Even a liar starts to forget things. And that's what you did. You got the names mixed up, been switching them around. And now you've got a lot of felonies. One article says 31, one says 60. 31 is just as bad as 60. Because it's a matter of what is going to stick and what they'll decide to remove if you take a plea. So your best bet, and I think you know this, is to take a plea. Try to get all the charges run together from Louisiana to Utah to do prison in just one place and be done with it. And maybe you can come out and still be rapping at about 30 years of age. Or under 35, depending on state laws for the crimes. You got to get it together, honey, because you have 11 children who are depending on you to be a provider. And I'm sure there's going to be a problem. As I said, you leaving your estate to somebody that you trust to make sure that all mothers get monies and get to make sure that the children are taken care of. And I don't know if you have someone in your corner that you can trust, because I have heard no mention of a mother. Your biological father's incarcerated. So who are you going to get to run your estate? A lawyer? You better hope you can trust that person to make sure they ain't putting nothing in their pocket. Because whenever you leave somebody over your finances, you're in a world of trouble. As Oprah Winfrey once said, always sign your own check. And you won't be able to do that incarcerated. You have to leave somebody as a designated person, executor of a will or whomever, to keep everything afloat. Either put things in storage or keep a home, a condo. You're going to have to keep the bills paid there. You're going to have to keep alarm systems so nobody breaks into the house. That's a lot to worry about, especially if you get a lengthy sentence. You are still trusting someone to orchestrate your personal effects, and you're out of sight. So you have a lot to contemplate. So hopefully while you're incarcerated now in Utah, you will have time to think about all of this. And as far as you joining this LDS church, they got enough damn problems. And I'm saying it as a Christian lady. They ain't teaching the true word, and that's my opinion. And I'm assuming if you grew up in Louisiana believing in Jesus Christ Superstar, you know that what they're talking about ain't the real deal. So I don't know if you had any proper upbringing in the church or not. You was raised by your grandmother. I would just assume she's a Christian. I don't know. But the LDS church, I'd stay away from that, baby. You got enough problems. And that's no disrespect to people who follow that faith, but I wouldn't get wrapped up in that because they got enough going on out west pertaining to Lloyd Vallow and Ruby Frankie. That ain't what you want. That ain't what you want. And we know that really that faith, they don't really favor, to me, African-American people. And I've heard that. Maybe some new branch, not the older ones. And I think you have more things to be worried about, such as getting your affairs in order, your financial affairs in order, continue to provide for your children. And you need to find somebody who is faith-based and they have some common sense and they have their head on their shoulders that can help guide you to get in a better place spiritually, mentally, and financially. The first part of this last room is pertaining to TikTok. The bill has been passed in the House of Representatives to go forward with banning this TikTok brand in the United States. So, if ByteDance does not sell this company, the U.S. government says you will not be able to operate here, stateside. How do you all feel about that? I put up a poll on my community page. Please take the poll. Please take the other polls and give me your opinion. But before I check out of here, we're going to go to my community page and I'm going to give you the answers to the polls that I have posted in the past couple of days. Thank you for joining me. This is the Vault XL. This is a two-part live pertaining to the TikTok ban here in the United States and NBA YoungBoy, who has been charged with prescription fraud in Utah. He is now in custody without bail. And he also has charges coming out of Louisiana pertaining to firearm charges. He's in a hot butter mess. Feel free to go back to the beginning of this live to get the said information. Thank you so much. All right, let's take a peek at what you all have to say about the said information, my hot topics. Thank you all so much. All right, this is pertaining to the TikTok ban here in the United States. Is it a good decision for the U.S. to ban this company? 42% yes, 26% no, 32% not sure. Earlier, it was 33 for yes, no, and not sure. So some more people have voted, and you all are giving me your opinion. Okay. My movie of the week is Serenity, starring Matthew McConaughey. You can watch it free on the Roku channel. Thank you very, very much. All righty. Please check out my latest content on Gypsy Rose and Morgan Wallen. He has issued an apology pertaining to throwing a chair off a rooftop bar in Nashville, Tennessee. And as most of you know, Gypsy Rose has filed divorce from her husband, Ryan Anderson, seen out with an ex-boyfriend the first of the month, I believe in March, or April, excuse me. And they say there's nothing going on, but they do have matching dog tattoos, so go figure. All right, here are the questions on the community page. Feel free to go over and take those polls if you like. How long will Gypsy Rose live with her parents? Couple of months, 7%. 1 year, 3%. Not sure, 12%. Until she finds new victims, 79%. Does Ryan Anderson want to work out his marriage to Gypsy Rose? Yes, 20%. No, 46%. Not sure, 33%. Should Ryan Anderson be ordered to pay Gypsy Rose spousal support? She has asked for this in her divorce decree, that he pays her spousal support, and she's also asked for a restraining order, which I don't understand what the hell that's all about. She's saying it's pertaining to social media accounts, but my understanding she's not on social media. Well, they are private, so if they're private, then I would assume he's blocked. So what's the problem? He can't get through to say anything to you if you haven't blocked. So I don't understand what that restraining order is about. So should he be ordered to pay her spousal support? Yes, 5%. No, 93%. Not sure, 2%. Country music singer Morgan Wallen has issued an apology to those accordingly. Is it genuine? 24% yes, 53% no, 24% not sure. How about that? Should a judge have ordered Todd Chrisley to pay an IRS worker $755,000 for defamation? 60% yes, 23% no, 17% not sure. Should Chrisley's be granted a new trial? Right now, they are petitioning an appeal because they feel like they were wrongly convicted in the last fraud trial, and they did pay some money back on back taxes. But as I said before, it's neither here nor there that you paid the money back. You owe the money, so it doesn't matter. The point is, you owe the money at the time of trial. They're saying there were some discrepancies by an IRS worker. Mr. Todd went to social media bad-mouthing this female, and she won a judgment civilly, $755,000. As I said in that last video, if the state got it wrong about what they actually owed, then maybe some time should come off of their prison sentence. But if not, they need to do all their time, because they also committed bank fraud by giving fake documents in order to accrue all these loans, filing for bankruptcy, knowing they couldn't pay the money back anyway. Okay, that's fraud, and that's fraud separate than you owing back taxes. So they've done some wrong dealings. Also, wire fraud. The wife also gave fraudulent documents to the grand jury, which you also know that is a crime. So they're not innocent in what they have been accused of. But anywho, should they get a new trial? 21% yes, 63% no, 17% not sure. Did Gypsy Rose love Ryan Anderson? 3% said yes, 91% no, 6% not sure. A few weeks ago, Gypsy Rose's ex-boyfriend says he's not clout chasing by being in her company. Do you believe him? Well, someone took a picture of her and this Mr. Urker out in public at a at a Dollar General. And I wonder who took that picture. Probably somebody just out and about and realized it was Gypsy Rose. But anywho, he's claiming it's no big deal. They're just friends, but they were holding hands. So I find that interesting. Do you hold friends with your male friends, Miss Ladies? Do you go get dog tattoos with your male friends? Because I don't. I don't hug my guy friends often. I don't kiss them, and I don't hold their hands, and I have never gotten a tattoo. I don't even have a tattoo. So I think Gypsy Rose and Mr. Urker are full of you-know-what, and I do believe that they're messing around, and I don't know who reached out to whom, but I smell BS. Once again, do you believe his version that they're just friends? 19% yes, 69% no, 13% not sure. Is Gypsy Rose dating her ex? 61% yes, 9% no, 30% not sure. Leilani Simon. Let's get down to that dirty business. It's been a year and a half since Leilani Simon reported her son Quentin missing. She is now on trial for his murder. Does she have remorse? Wishes she could go back? 4% yes, 54% no, mad, sorry, she was caught only. 33%, not sure, 9%. Lord Jesus, who's the 9%? Did Gypsy Rose Blanchard marry Ryan Anderson to divorce him soon after prison, release for monetary gain? I think I kind of messed that up a little bit. But did she just marry him so she can get money later? You know, divorce him later, or divorce him soon after getting out of prison, and then go to court and file for divorce so she can have some income coming in for herself? Was this an intricate plan, basically? 75% of you believe this was an intricate plan. 10% no, 15% not sure. If found guilty of murdering her son, Quentin, how much time should Leilani Simon receive? 25 to life, 9%. 10 to life, 3%. Less than 25%, 3%. Less than 25 years, 3%. Life without parole, 82%. Life with the chance of parole, 3%. So most of you believe she should get life without parole. Is Leilani Simon's brother Paul involved in the murder of Quentin Simon? Yes, 8%. No, 34%. Assumes or knows she did it, 16%. Aided her after the fact, 14%. Not sure, 29%. Did court sever custodial rights visitation of all grandkids to Billie Joe Howe? And this is the mother of Leilani Simon, who allegedly had custody of the children but was off working with her husband when this boy child was allegedly killed and dumped in a dumpster and then taken to the landfill. So do you believe her custodial rights and visitation of the grandkids should be severed if they're not already? 41% yes, 13% no, 46% not sure. Should court allow Billy Joe Howe supervised visitation with the grandkids? 65% no, 27% yes, 7% not sure. I'd like to know the people who voted 27%, because I have 84 votes on this question. Why in the hell do you think she has the right to see children that she left with a mother? For some reason, she had full custody. Don't know if she forced her, coerced her, bullied her, blackmailed her, or they went to the courts because she was unfit, or the judge deemed her unfit and the mother stepped in. However it went, why are 27% of you saying she deserves to see these kids, Billy Joe Howe? Please explain to the queen. I think something wrong with y'all, whoever voted for that. That's crazy to me. Did Danny Youngkin see Quentin in the crib bed at 6 a.m. before going to work? You will hear on the 911 call on Court TV that he says he saw the child in the bed crib or where the baby lied, which we don't believe he laid anyway because he's already dead. On the 911 call, don't you find that interesting? Do you believe he saw the child before he went to work? Because the state is saying the baby was dead by 6 a.m. So let's be truthful. How could he have possibly seen the child? 9% of you said yes, 55% of you said no, and 36% of you said not sure. Hello, Diane. Did Danny Youngkin know of Leilani's plan or help to murder her son, Quentin Simon? 5% yes, 29% no, 45% says knew but didn't unalive the child. 3% of you said knew and helped unalive the child. 18% of you not sure. Very interesting stats there. Did the DA offer Leilani a plea deal? 11% yes, 36% no, 25% not sure, 22% said she or attorney will seek one later, and then 6% of you said DA will offer her one later. Very interesting. So a low amount of you believe that the DA will offer her one later. Well, she should know, or let me say, past. She should have known that they knew that she killed her child because they arrested her. And as you heard with that Court TV segment a year and a half ago, she said, if something comes up that I did wrong by my child, did something wrong, then I will turn myself in. Which to me, she was saying, yes, I killed my child. So I'll turn myself in. But like I told people, you don't have to worry about turning yourself in because they're going to come get your tail. You know you killed that baby. And she now knows they know she killed her kid because she was seen going to a dumpster in the AM at a trailer park, dumping the child. And this is why they tell you can't do anything, because there is always Big Brother watching. There is always an eye in the sky looking at everything. Somebody has a camera on their house. Somebody has a doorbell camera. There's cameras on buildings. It is what it is. Thank you. One second. Let me get this nonsense out the chat. Thank you all so much for joining me. Should Billy Joe Howe be on trial for murder as well as Quentin's murder? 67% yes, 29% no, and 4% not sure. Let's look at the comments on that question. Thank you for joining me. Jamie 4890 says she should be facing child neglect, child endangerment, and murder. Tanak 7498 says not murder but child neglect. And then the queen replied, that is me. I put up a question emoji. Basically, you don't say. Okay. Everyone's entitled to his or her opinion. I don't agree. I think she should go down too. That's just how I feel. I think she should go down as well. Okay, let me go back through because I've got a lot of It boosts me back out when I read the comments for some reason. So take the polls. I got a lot of polls on my community page pertaining to Riley Strain. I have shorts uploaded pertaining to Riley Strain and other breaking news. Gypsy Rose polls. I've got polls pertaining to the TikTok ban, Morgan Wallen. I've got a lot of content. Once again, movie of the week is Serenity, now free on the Roku channel. If you have a Roku TV or device, feel free to check out the movie. It's a very good movie with Matthew McConaughey. Last week's movie was The Burning Girls, 6-episode series off of Roku channel as well. So feel free to check out those networks. I decided to go over to the Roku channel. I saw something in the queue pertaining to The Burning Girls, and I had forgot it was on there. I thought it was on Tubi, and I went to Tubi and couldn't find it. I typed it in. I was like, where is this show? Did I miss it? And then I realized I found it on Roku by looking it up. So if you want some interesting content, Serenity is my movie of the week with Matthew McConaughey. And last week's choice, The Burning Girls, 6-episode British mystery, also on the Roku channel. No, excuse me. Got the burps today. All right, let's go down to the nonsense out in Kansas, Oklahoma, pertaining to the 2 women unalived by the biological grandmother of the lady's children. Do more people know or are involved in the murders of Veronica and Jillian? 78% yes, 10% no, 12% not sure. Should Riley Strain's parents move on? 22% yes, 67% no, 10% not sure. Let me talk about the Riley Strain short that I did. I put up a short saying, should they move on? And somebody basically, made a little snide-ass comment about who cares about my opinion. Well, you don't have to care about my opinion because, one, this is my network, and I bring content according to how I feel. I give my opinion. You don't have to agree. And the questions I put up on the polls, you don't have to answer. And as far as the shorts, it's a question I will ask because I feel like it. I ask questions that are pertinent to the information at hand. When you see that you're going down into the abyss, because obviously whoever this person that commented, they don't know what the fuck's going on with the case. They are searching out people who have continuously lied about seeing Riley Strain out and about that night. So if you had somebody assuming they saw a homeless person in a shirt and it turned out that the shirt was on the dead man, number one. Number two, somebody tells you that they heard him arguing, blah, 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 and then the police gets involved and they change their version and say, oh, no, it wasn't him, don't want to cooperate. Why in the world would you continue to look for somebody else to bring you a version pertaining to seeing Riley Strain? That's my opinion. That's my opinion. The medical examiner says there's no foul play. So you've also ordered a second autopsy. So what you have to do is use deduction. That's why you go to the autopsy and say, I want to be present. I want to see the pictures. That's what I would have done. I would have went to identify my child because nobody can tell me I can't identify my child. Now, I've heard some people say they would turn down the state of the police said, oh, we know it's your son, it's your daughter. No, I want to see. That way I can verify later when something comes back that's not right from the autopsy. I can say I was present when I viewed the body of my child and this didn't look right to me. And I would have taken photographs. And as morbid as that sounds, so what? It's my child. Because this way you don't have no discrepancies later. And it's not that you're a medical provider or a medical doctor to say what is going on the inside of the person, but you can say what you saw visually. And that's what I would have done. I would have went down there to the corner and I would have looked at my child. I would have taken pictures or video of my child. So that way when somebody come back and say, well, they didn't have a bruise on their forehead, they didn't have a bruise on their chest, I can go back to my video, my picture and say, well, yes, there is a bruise there. Hell yeah. I want to see the whole body and I want you to turn my child over. I want to see them from the back of their head to the bottom of the heels of their feet. Who could tell me I don't have a right to do that? Nobody has a right to tell you that you can't see your child. Front and back of your child. And yes, it seems morbid, but This case is the reason why you would want to do that. Because imagine you didn't go view the body. You didn't go look at the child, and you going off this medical examiner. Now, some people feel like the medical examiner is in cahoots with national police to push this case on the rug because it was foul play. Okay, so let's just say that's true. Imagine you the parent and you never saw the child dead. So you don't know what your child looked like coming up out that water. Say, well, you're going to always be wondering what your child looked like. And as I said, it's a very morbid and creepy scenario to be in, to look at a dead person, you know, head to foot, but I think you should. So you wouldn't have any questions later. That's my opinion. So I asked the pertinent questions pertaining to the information. The information at hand is that these parents, family members, keep reaching out to the general public for answers, but they keep coming back negative. So you have to ask yourself, if and when you get the toxicology reports, and it shows that there were no nefarious drugs in his system, that he could have either imbibed on his own or put into a drink, food, then what? Where do you go then? If there's no drugs in the toxicology report, you will still say what to yourself as the family? That he's still hurt and harmed, then you would have to have proof. And right now, you can't get that. If the medical examiner says there was nothing nefarious in the autopsy, if you got a second autopsy and the medical examiner says the same thing, there's no eyewitness or CCTV footage to show an altercation, a beating, a stabbing, or whatever, then what do you have? So hell yeah, I had every right to say, should they move on? It doesn't matter if I think they should move on or not. I gave my question, and that's what I asked. Anything else to complain about? Thank you. My goodness. So should they move on, the family? 22% says yes, 67% says no, 10% not sure. Should Chrisleys receive a new trial? 29% yes, 55% no, 15% not sure. Should the Oklahoma Misfits receive the death penalty? 88% yes, 7% no, 5% not sure. Should Leilani Simon's 911 call interview be suppressed? That is what the latest BS is about pertaining to her. I brought you information from Court TV last week that her attorneys feel like the call and her interviews with the police should be suppressed, which it's ridiculous because she's the one who called 911 to say that her child is missing. So why should the interviews and her 911 call be suppressed? They didn't force her to say anything or call 911. They didn't know her child was missing. And we now know that it is a lie. Her child was not missing. The state claims she killed her child and dumped her child in a dumpster. And then the child proceeded from the dumpster, from the trailer park, to the landfill. Once again, 2% yes, 95% no, 2% not sure about the call and the interviews being suppressed. Dear God. Robin Hallington, right here in good old Knoxville, Tennessee, this female woman was found guilty of murder of her 5-year-old daughter in court last week. Did the judge give the right time in prison? She's been ordered to do 22 years. 20% yes, 80% no. Wow. So I think most of us believe she should have gotten more time. And I think she should have, because I think she deliberately shot her child and put it off on her son. And that was the upteenth version she gave. Because everybody did it. The boogeyman, Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba, baby daddy. She tried to get everybody she could involved, tried to get a guy to come get the gun, pick it up. I think she was trying to set him up so his fingerprints could have been on the gun, a guy who she was selling pills to. She's just a dirty bird. Robin, I think, killed the kid because she was tired of dealing with the baby daddy. She wanted to be free of dealing with the baby daddy. Now, he's gone to court, to speak up. He wrote a letter. The district attorney read the letter. He basically said she was a menace, a problem. She was always bothering him, his girlfriend, trying to get her kids taken from her, calling CPS on the girlfriend, always trying to get him arrested. But she also alleged in her documents and interviews with the police that he used to beat her up. So I don't know what's the truth or not. I think they both probably battered one another. And either one probably wouldn't have been a good parent to the little girl. God rest her soul, she's no longer here. But Robin Hamilton is where she belongs. And I pray she does all 22 damn years. Every damn day of 22. Because I think she should be in there for longer. Once again, most of you believe, did not believe that the judge gave the right sentence. Didn't give her enough time. 80% of you. Brian Korberger says he was stargazing the night the Idaho 4 were murdered. Do you believe this? 8% says yes. 92% says no. Thank you, Jesus. Nobody believes that BS. Do you believe Riley told mom the night of his disappearance that his drink tasted like barbecue? That's the latest developments coming from the mother. 83% yes, 9% no, 9% not sure. Should the Goldmans Browns receive money from O.J. Simpson's estate? Most of you know that Mr. Simpson passed away at the age of 76 from prostate cancer. And my understanding is that Mr. Goldman is following through with his lawsuit to receive any monies from him. Mr. Simpson's lawyer first made a negative comment that they weren't going to get any money, zero. And he responded to that of what Mr. Goldman said about OJ being dead. Basically, like, I don't care. I'm not interested in that. It's all about my son. So now the attorney has retracted statements. He, basically saying, he responded in haste, but he will follow Nevada law pertaining to the estate of O.J. Simpson and whatever the law renders, and whoever else has, any type of filings of debt against Mr. O.J. Simpson, the late O.J. Simpson, follow the ladder of the law. So in order, whoever he needs to owe out, pay out, then you step in line, and then when you fall in line and there's something left for you to get, then so be it. That's what the lawyer's saying. But you also got to remember he has 4 children. So then you got to ask yourself, what did OJ leave his kids besides anybody suing him and any debts accrued before death? So 77% of you said yes, they should receive money, both families, and 23% no. I haven't heard anything from the Browns, which is very interesting. Haven't heard much from them. And as I told you all before, the white Bronco, the infamous Bronco, is right here in East Tennessee. It is parked at a museum in Pigeon Forge. For those of you who are curious to what happened to that Bronco. And the man who unalived himself outside of the Trump trial last week in New York, he did succumb to his injuries. There we have it, everybody. I brought you information pertaining to Sebastian Rogers yesterday. Please check out that video. And the next live I would like to do will be pertaining to Ruby Frankie. Her son has spoken out on social media pertaining to his mother and her sisters. They have spoken out. And the niece of Jody Hildebrandt, she has spoken out. And I'd like to briefly discuss that because really I'm tired of talking about that Ruby Frankie mess. The husband is suing Jody Hildebrandt, I guess, for monies, to pay for mental health for the children, which I think is a cop-out because I feel like nobody could have talked me into leaving my family. First of all, Jody would have never moved in my house. Me and Ruby would have been done right then. That's number one. And I would have filed for custody of my children if she didn't comply with what I asked her to do. Because I can't see a man allowing another woman who's a therapist move in her house. This is why I say there was an intricate plan to get rid of Mr. Kevin Frankie, and he didn't see the writing on the wall. He's a very weak-minded man to me. And this is the type of man that you don't want in your life if you're a woman. A man who can't think for himself. He is of no good or use to you. He's of no use or good as a father. I also learned that the oldest son is living with Mr. Kevin. I'd like to know how that is working out. Because I'm trying to figure out why would you want to live with a man who abandoned you for a year, all off the guise and recommendation from Jody Hildebrandt, the person who helped keep your brother and sister hostage. And every time I say that content on TV, I get upset because I'm tired of looking at it. I'm tired of looking at that little boy going to the doorbell asking for help. I fast forward through it every time they show it. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at that. I don't want to look at the little girl sitting in the closet. Because when you look at the life that Ruby had, this fake facade, the fake YouTube channel, it was all a ruse versus looking at the little girl in that closet, them trying to hand her something to drink and pizza because she's been starving, and looking at the little boy going to the neighbor's door. That's the real life of her children. So you think of that versus her made up, painted up, taking all these pictures on social media with her children. She was living a lie. She and Kevin together. So my thing is Kevin is grouped into it as well because he was living the original lie with Ruby before Jody Hildebrand even came into the picture. And that's my personal opinion about that subject matter. He's a fraud as well. And he is not a man. He is not a manly man. He walks around with his leg tucked between his legs like old dusty dog. He allowed a woman to come in between he and his wife and children. And that to me is unacceptable. Because if you believe in the scripture, since they love quoting the Bible and this other Latter-day Saint mess, the man is the head of the household. So a man is not supposed to let nobody come between his household. And that's what has always been said in vows. Naturally, people have made their own vows up as time went on. You choose to do whatever you want when you get ready to get married to somebody, but you're not supposed to let anybody come between you and your household, okay? So there you have it. So you let a man, woman come between you and your wife, and then next thing you know, you out, month for month, you're not having no contact with your wife and your children, and next thing you know, the woman has moved down to the bottom of Utah with her children and holding them hostage and torturing them with this other woman. Now ask yourself, how does that make any sense? It doesn't. It does not. It's cruel and it's vile. And the fact that Ruby tried to put it all off on Jody and all these old tape confessions of her talking like, oh, I knew she wasn't going to say this and do this and she don't want to take responsibility. You're only acting like you came out of a fall because you were caught. Because I got a funny feeling your children will be dead right now had that little boy not escaped and made it to that neighbor's house. So that bullshit she put in that damn, in them tapes talking to whoever she's talking to on the phone while she was incarcerated is a bunch of BS. She has no remorse. She don't feel nothing. And the sad part of the story is that the son believes the mother has remorse because somebody's asking him, well, how do you feel about what your mother said, during the trial before her sentencing, where she thanked everybody. And the son said it sounded like she was at the Oscars. Did sound strange. Well, if it sounds strange, how can you say that it seems genuine? Please help me understand. But he's a young person, and I don't want to judge him harshly because that's the same son that slept on a beanbag for 7 months in an open room in their house. Now you put that on paper. So the fact that he was shocked that his mother was arrested for these crimes, shocked that it happened to his brothers and sisters, that's weird to me. Because I know he knows his real parents and he knows what went on in the house when he was living with her. And I don't think it was a great relationship between Ruby, her husband, and the children. He may have favored his father more, but that same father you're staying with is the same one who abandoned you. So I would have a problem with going back in the fold with my father as an adult, because you know what the first thing I'd say? What about the next time when shit don't go right? Hell, will you leave me again? Will you abandon me again? Although I'm an adult now, but I'm just saying. I think that son needs to do some reassessing. I think he needs to go out here, work, get him a job, live on his own. Either live with another relative or live on his own. I don't think he should be living with his father. That's my personal opinion. Now, maybe this is their way of trying to make amends with one another, but I wouldn't trust the father. Because what you have to tell yourself is the obvious, what I just said. If the little boy had not escaped, both women would have still been abusing both children, and Mr. Frankie would still be on the outside looking in and wondering when the hell he was going to go home. For all I know, he had moved on from his children and family, because there's no excuse for a man not to reach out to his wife and kids and say, I'm sick of living here alone. I want my family back. I want to work on coming back home. How in the world do you allow another woman to one, come stay in your house. Two, you go leave from the house for a whole year with no contact with the kids or the mother. And some of you out there favored Kevin. Oh, he knew how his wife was. And well, if he knew how his wife was, he should have divorced her before she got tangled up with Jody Hildebrand. You're contradicting yourself. See, a lot of people are just like the people in the story. I've come to see that in the comments. Some of you are just like these people. This is why you favor these stupid ass folks. This makes no sense what you're saying. He should have left. He should have left when? When should he have left? Please enlighten me. When she put the child on the beanbag? When she was making her children walk around like little army men and women? Making them get down on the floor and scrub the floor with toothbrushes and shit like that and scrub the floor like they were maids? When should Kevin have left her? Please help me out. Before Jody Hildebrand moved in the house? When Jody Hildebrand moved in the house? Oh, when they both ordered him to get the fuck out the house? When should Kevin have filed for divorce and went to court and got custody of his children? Please help me understand. I'm just curious. That's the point exactly. The children would be dead by now. Because common sense will tell you open wounds are getting infections. You're not giving them water, food. They're not getting sunlight. Or you're putting them out in sunlight to scar their skin. Then bring them back in, more torture. It would affect your mind mentally, being secluded. How long do you all think this is going to go on? This is going to be a Lori Vallow Daybell story. The children would have ended up dying and they would have buried them somewhere and nobody would have known a damn thing. And also, sisters speaking out, giving their commentary. And one sister said, I think it was Sherry, well, we knew something was wrong when she joined the church or joined this connections group, rather. She started ignoring us and coming around with all these crazy people talking. We wanted to say something to her, but we did call the police and CPS. And what did you call to tell them? Because think about it. What is the police going to say? What is CPS going to say? Well, is she physically abusing? Is he physically abusing the kids? So maybe why nothing was done? Because they live in this fancy house, nice neighborhood. They look coiffed. They didn't see anything. They looked in the refrigerator, saw food. And probably when they talked to the children lied. Because children fear their parents. And they also fear going out to the wilderness not knowing where they're going to sleep. So if they think, oh, if I tell on my parents, I'll probably get taken out of here. Where am I going to go then? So they stay with the abuser. It happens every day. So those are questions you need to ask. When the first group of people called CPS, those who were watching YouTube, what did the children say to the social worker when the social worker went to the house and then the social worker closed the case? Number two, Sherry says family members called CPS and the police on her. So what did you all see nefarious in her behavior to where you need to call the police and CPS? How many times did you all individually call? And then we have to say, why the fuck somebody didn't go to court to say these parents are abusing these children? They need immediate care. See, there's something funky with that. But I don't know all the details, and I don't want to seem like I'm judging these people, but I found that strange. Because I don't remember hearing that at the beginning of this case, that they were calling CPS. I just remember them saying she fell off from them. She stopped going around them. Now we hear, oh, she was coming around and saying all type of whack, crazy stuff about the connections business. They didn't like the way she was talking, but they were going to tell her, oh, you keep on talking that, don't come back around. Well, that's what you should have told her. Hey, we don't know what's going on with you, but you seem to have changed since you got this Hildebrand lady. You're talking erratic. You're talking crazy. And then you should have went to the husband and said, what's going on with your wife? She seems different. Are you on board with this connections, nonsense, rhetoric? Are you in agreement with this Hildebrand lady? And then you should have got a response. If he sounded like he was on board with it, then hell yeah, I would have called somebody and said, hey, I think these people are in a cult. Something's going on with them. But we also know the flip side is you can go complain and nothing will be done. And that's what we're hearing from the commentary from Law and Crime. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. But it's all a bunch of BS. I do not feel sorry for Ruby Frankie. I do not believe she has remorse. Jody Hildebrand has no remorse. She showed that in court. And Kevin Frankie, I don't feel anything from him. I don't care about him suing Jody's estate. You do whatever the fuck you want. I feel like you trying to find a scapegoat to pay for money for the children's mental care because you don't want to pay for it. That's what I think. I don't believe you need custody of the children. I don't think it's a good idea for your son to be living with you. I do find it strange he's living with you. I find it strange that the son thinks his mother's apology was genuine in court. He's been venting, playing video games. That's his outlet, his way of talking about the case. He has not gone on a public platform to talk about, what happened with his mother in court. Maybe one day he will. We have the sisters coming out, giving their opinions pertaining to her behavior with the Connections organization and Jody Hildebrandt. They called CPS police. Jody's niece, she's now publicly still speaking and talking about abuse, blah, blah, blah. It's all bullshit. Because this is the point of life. And I speak personally at 53. There are always signs that people are fucked up. It's a matter of, do you tolerate it? I'm a living witness. It's what you tolerate. The abuse, the name calling, the crazy people talk, the talking in circles, the erratic behavior, the mental disorders, it's all what you tolerate. And at some point we have to own our part in playing along with these fools. Okay? When you play along, you will get burned. So sometimes you have to remove yourself. Really, that's the best advice. When you see you're dealing with a fool or a psychotic ass person, sociopath or psychopath, remove yourself because it's not going to get better. Lord knows I've been trying to tell myself that the past almost 3 years. Why are you still dealing with a fucking fool? Because they don't give a fuck about themselves. They don't care about nothing, period. They don't care about themselves. So therefore, they cannot care about you. And I give this advice to people and I tell myself, you need to take your own advice. So I will admit my own shortcomings during this live stream. There comes a point when you need to run, not walk, not roll. Run like hell because it doesn't get better. And even if the person decides to apologize, it does not mean he or she is genuine. A lot of times people say what they expect people to hear. But it does not mean that they mean it. And that's what you have here. I do not believe Ruby Frankie was genuine, apologizing to law enforcement, EMT, district attorney, blah, blah, blah. Bitch, you got caught. I know right now, had you not got arrested last summer, you still would have been abusing your kids and they'd probably be dead by now. And they'd be somewhere in a shallow damn grave out there in the fucking desert. And you and Jody would be playing house. And I do believe that you two were screwing or licking on each other doing something. Yes, I'm saying it during this live stream. I believe Jody had the hots for Ruby Frankie. I believe something sexual was going on between them because it doesn't add up. 2 women abusing children. Why those 2 kids? And this bullshit that they were demons and doing wrong and they need to be reprimanded is a bunch of bull. You're entitled to believe what you want about Ruby Frankie. You're entitled to believe what you want about Jody Hildebrandt. And you're entitled to believe what you want about Kevin Frankie. I don't give two you know what. But Kevin to me is just as evil as they are because he abandoned his children. He abandoned his children and left them with this fucking crazy psychopathic bitch. And now he wants money from Jody's estate. How dare you? You don't want to pay the medical bills. That's what this is about. You are a coward. And if I was any woman, I wouldn't look at you. I wouldn't bed you. I wouldn't look at you because you have definitely fallen short of the glory because you abandoned your kids and you left them with that crazy ass wife. And you want out, you want a divorce, so what? You don't have a choice. She's incarcerated. I guess so. And a man that won't fight for his own wife and a man that won't fight for his children, he ain't hitting on nothing. That's a weak man who won't even fight for his own wife and kids. When you saw the signs, she was not going to leave that woman alone or put her out the house or whatever, you should have went to the court and filed for immediate custody and told the judge, I do not want her around my kids, or it had to be supervised visits only. without that Jody Hildebrand or any other nut job connected to connections. And then we also have to ask ourselves what that other lady knew and didn't know. Because as Jody's niece said, that other lady, she knew all about what was going on and how Jody treated the children, her own nieces and nephews. So what role does that other woman play? And as we've seen with this Oklahoma nonsense, everybody in cahoots with each other and coercing people, this Tiffany Adams coercing this with these Twombly people and this other mystery guy, and then the Twombly's daughter, she knew about what was going on. You got to ask yourself the same with the Daybells. Everybody talking crazy about Jesus Christ Superstar and zombies. Who all's involved? Who all has knowledge? You know, it's one thing to have one demon walking around, but when you can talk another person into getting with you to hurt another human, kill another human, abuse, torture another human, you've got a problem. You're talking about a serious mastermind. So we had Lori Daybell, Chad, her brother, her niece, all them goons wrapped up together. Dangerous. Hildebrand, Ruby, dangerous. Who else is involved? Dangerous. Oklahoma, Kansas, 4 suspects, possible 5th person. Even a 16-year-old had knowledge. Now you got to ask yourself about the son, Rick. I did a little research last night. If the information is truth about when he went into the damn rehab court, well, it's just a little while right before the women went missing. So just because somebody went into rehab, that don't mean nothing to me either. For all I know, he was a part of the plan. See, it's easy to go ahead and blame somebody else. Oh, they abused me. Oh, they coerced me. Oh, they forced me to do this. You're a grown-ass man. How your mama forced you to do any damn thing? You all better pay attention. See, it's easy to pass the buck once people have been arrested. You know it's a possibility your name's going to be mentioned, so now you're going to worm your way out of it and say, oh, I don't know nothing about it. I ain't had nothing to do with it. But I must say, it's perfect timing with this Oklahoma, Kansas mess with the misfits. The son goes to court or something, March, then goes into the treatment center allegedly. And then next thing you know, these women go missing. April, stay woke. Or into March, rather, March 30th. It's perfect timing. Doesn't matter if he didn't have phone calls. Doesn't matter it was 30 days, no contact. That don't mean he didn't conspire with his mother, the mother's boyfriend, and the Twomleys before going into the treatment center. It's an 8 days difference. If I'm not mistaken, March 22nd is when he went into the treatment center. They go missing March 30th. Do the math. I'm woke. I stay woke. Thank you for joining me. God bless all of you. Also, new information. They believe the next hit was going to be for the judge. That'll be the next live stream pertaining to Kansas and Oklahoma debacle with the misfits. Thank you for joining me and following this network. God bless all of you. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $McAngie 129 Cash App. Give me a few minutes. I'll be back to finish out that because I want to get all these live streams out with the updated information. Yesterday, Mr. Maxwell Anderson went to court for unaliving Sade Robinson in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Blood was in his house. That is the latest information. You can get it on Court TV. DNA is all you need. Body parts thrown out at parks and on the shoreline of Lake Michigan. They belong to this black woman. DNA has been done. He has put in a not guilty plea yesterday. Sir, you know you killed that girl. Own it. Own it. And end this misery for her family. And tell them where they can find the rest of her body parts. Amen. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below this video. Take the polls on my community page. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $McAngie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats always welcome during the live stream. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, Diane. Thank you, sweetie.